fifth total Johnny Somali trial day, but the fourth in his current case. And it's safe to say, just like pretty much every other time, well, I guess last week was a pretty big win for him. This time, reality sets back in because now it's basically confirmed that he's going to be stuck in South Korea for a lot longer. And things definitely didn't go his way because one of the witnesses did not show up. And that just extended the trial by 3 months or more than 3 months, 4 months. We're looking at a 4 month,
3.5, yeah, 3.5, something like that.
Which is, that is just crazy. So going into this trial, there was 3 people that were supposed to testify. So you have Yunman, who last week we found out he settled with. That hasn't officially gone through yet, but we think that that is going to go through.
Yeah, I think this draft agreement that they signed just on written on a piece of A4 paper, all 3 of them signed, Yoman, Hank, Johnny Somali, that's being treated as if it's finalized because it's going to be finalized. The court's assuming that they have gotten the message loud and clear from both sides that they're willing to mutually drop the cases against each other. And that's the outcome the court often wants to see.
Yeah.
If they could end every case that way, but the 2 parties settling, leaving it behind them, that's generally the ideal. Of course, there are a lot of things that make this case different, though.
Yeah. So then the second person that was going to testify was supposed to be Hank. Hank did have he did testify. And then the third person was supposed to be Bong Bong, who's a Korean Twitch streamer who I guess is in Australia now. Because what was her? She had like a crazy quote like a couple days ago when she decided to fly to Australia. She was like, "My lawyer said I didn't have to show up. I don't care about Johnny."
And I don't have time for Johnny.
I don't have time. That's what it was.
I don't have time for Johnny Somali. That's what she said.
So yeah, she's in Australia because of that. Then suddenly she went live this morning and was panicked because a bunch of her chatters were saying, "Hey, you might get pretty severe fines if you just no show." So then suddenly she submitted this like official, not a request, but like she made an official statement saying she wasn't going to show up for this trial.
Yeah, it's, you could call it a request, but basically saying, "I'm not coming. Here's the reason I'm not coming." This was obviously done through a lawyer since she's in Australia, so we don't know how sincere these words are, but what did she say? She said that she's willing to attend 1 month from now.
Right.
She was assuming that they're going to put it 1 month from now, but that's not the case. When they call a witness, they give you plenty of time. 3.5 months.
So he's now stuck here for Christmas and New Year's in the bunk bed with Hank. So that'll
Valentine's
be
Day as well, probably.
And
because it's
Valentine's
not going to
Day.
be over after February 11th.
So, oh boy. Okay. So today when we got here to trial, things were kind of set up the same way as last week, where because they were talking about the deepfake charges and the nature of those charges, we had to stand outside of the courtroom for both Hank and Youngman's testimony. So we didn't get to see that. But what was kind of interesting was the judge actually called us back in because the guy, he came out and he was kind of like, you guys should go home. You guys aren't going to get anything.
Right.
But then I guess the judge sent him to bring us back in towards the end of the trial.
Yeah, it's the bailiff has his job to do, and he does it independently, but the judge will often, make a new announcement or order. And so they did call us back in for the conclusion of the trial after the testimony, which was 1 hour, 40 minutes, was completed.
Yeah, that was insane. Let's see. So what else? We have, and today there was actually press here. Last week there was 0 press. So there was two people from the Korean press, and
Johnny walked in at 1:59 p.m., 1 minute early. This is a record for him. This is the first
the earliest
hearing that he's arrived anywhere close to on time.
But they were trying to contact Hank and figure out where they were like a few minutes before then.
Right, because it's the bailiff's job to make sure that all the witnesses are there. So he's kind of uptight about that. He wants to make sure that they're nice and early.
Trying to figure out what else happened from there.
They submitted new evidence and a new statement. The lawyer did. He basically said this is the old arguments that he's been making, and we've gone over those, and we'll go over a couple maybe today. But the one new addition was this settlement, and they're hoping that this settlement well obviously the first deepfake charge is going to be dropped, so that's going to be off the record. But their strategy is that they hope that this will get some sympathy, that will help him in the other cases.
Right.
Um,
And currently, Bong Bong doesn't have any charges, so he doesn't have that same leverage on Bong Bong as he did on Youngman.
Exactly.
And Bong Bong never assaulted him or did anything or stalked him or did anything like that. So it's not like he can really pin her with anything right now either.
That's right. Exactly. He has
So-
zero leverage over Bong Bong, who obviously does not care to do anything to help him.
So no, it's going to be an interesting next few months because like what? So next time his trial is, that would be in February, and then that trial is it essentially just Bong Bong's testimony?
Bong Bong's testimony probably smart. I think it'll be very similar to today.
Okay.
We'll be left outside, but the conclusion, and something crazy always happens in the conclusion, and it did again today, will probably happen then as well.
So what's the process after the next trial?
After the next trial, there would we could have plenty of curveballs, but the assumption is 1 month later, so sometime in March, something like that, you have closing arguments. So that's where the prosecutor makes his case, the defense makes their case, and Johnny is given an opportunity to speak and say whatever he wants.
Right.
That's usually the time to sincerely apologize.
But I mean, he's not going to do that. I mean, he's still uploading his YouTube videos. Like 3 days ago, he's still uploading clips from him harassing people in the streets in South Korea. So clearly he's not sorry. And most likely the prosecution and the judge will also see that. And Yoonman, you mentioned that he submitted multiple apology letters
Yes.
for that. And Johnny
including one yesterday. So
Really? Okay.
So Youngman submitted a 6th apology letter yesterday. And so that's why the settlement was allowed. It was for Youngman. It was not for Johnny Somali. They know he's full of it.
Mm-hmm.
They know that. But when there's that agreement between them, they let Youngman off in exchange for letting Johnny off on one charge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he had shown true reflection. He had shown true remorse. And
Yeah.
it's sincere. I can tell you from insider sources. He's sitting there like, I shouldn't have done that. Not just because of the punishment, but because it wasn't right.
Right.
And then you have Johnny Somali.
Right, who still is not apologizing at all.
He's
He's still uploading his YouTube videos to his channel of him harassing people in Korea.
Yeah, disrespecting the court, disrespecting Korea, disrespecting Koreans, the culture, the history. That doesn't look great, I think.
So currently he has, if they settled that one charge, which it seems like it's going to get settled, he has 7 charges. There's 4 business disruptions, 2 misdemeanors, and 1 last deepfake on Bong Bong.
And a deep fake in which he has 0 leverage.
So what would you, so the current maximum time he's facing right now, what would that be?
It's still the max is
Okay.
still 12 years.
And what's the minimum now?
minimum? Let's see, maybe 2.5, something like that.
Okay.
It's probably 6 months less than it would have been.
So
At the minimum, it's probably 6 months less than it would have been.
So
It's
his
like 2.5.
entire freedom is hinging on if he can get this charge with Bong Bong dropped or not.
I think he's gonna go to prison for the other ones as well because once again these were serious, despite the fact that he calls it like small charges. It's just gonna be a fine. He has determined himself to be somebody who is going to be harming his own case, refusing to apologize, disrespecting the court, online and offline. Plenty of evidence of all of that.
Well, yeah. I guess, is there anything more to add? Because I think that is... Oh, there is?
There is. There's quite a few things. So we got the lawyer bringing in the settlement as the new evidence, not just for the deep fake, but for all of the charges. So the lawyer sort of shoehorned that in. They announced that Bong Bong is going to come to the next one. We don't know if that's going to happen. Even with the lawyer's statement that she will be there, who knows? So that's a big mystery for February. And then the lawyer started to bring up some argumentation again. He talked about the Lotte World case. This was not initiated by the court. He started this discussion. Johnny's lawyer was sort of treating the court like he was the boss. This is a very chill judge, right?
Right.
He delivers his statements in a very calm and respectful manner. He listens attentively, uses a minimum of words because he's listening, he's taking everything in. But this lawyer, he's just acted like he was the boss. He refused to answer questions. He brought up the points that he wanted to bring.
And this is Johnny's lawyer.
This is Johnny's lawyer, yeah. So he decided to talk about Lotte World. and he made two arguments. One of them is an old one that Johnny's been making forever, which is they accuse him of shutting down this ride for 30 minutes, right? That's specific in the accusation.
Yeah.
So Johnny's saying, no, it wasn't 30 minutes. I don't know how long he thinks it was, 12 minutes, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It could be 1 minute.
Yeah. But it's still a business disruption if they shut down the ride because of it, technically.
Exactly. That's the fact. Maybe it was 30 minutes. I don't know. Maybe it was 2 minutes. It really doesn't matter. It also doesn't matter that they accused him of shutting it down for 30 minutes because they know that victims sometimes exaggerate. They're emotional, they're angry, they're used to that. And so they can take the facts and look at them and be like, okay, it wasn't 30 minutes, it was 15 minutes. The crime was still committed, he's still guilty. The other argument he was using was that he had the, the other charge related to Lotte World. Maybe
yes.
You wanna...
Yeah. Wait. So so that was also a business disruption, and then there was also the child. Yeah. Right. Okay. So
yes.
can't really mention too much about that here, but that was also dropped. Right?
That investigation was dropped. So they're making the convoluted argument that because this other charge related to Lotte World was dropped, they should drop this as well. Now the really crazy thing is he has pled guilty to Lotte World, yet he's sitting there in court and his lawyer is arguing against it.
So that, in theory, could also just keep extending.
That's extremely damaging to Johnny.
Okay.
Because what he should be doing is apologizing, not making excuses. He's making excuses and pleading guilty at the same time. We're in La La Land.
Right. So my last question was going to be, what was that 30-minute argument that you just answered that? So
yes, right.
Wow. Okay.
And then we had a little surprise. Normally, you're the defendant, you don't talk in court, except to confirm your identity, address, all that stuff. You do not talk. But Johnny suddenly spoke up and he said, listen, I've been here over a year. I have plenty of family and I have obligations in America that I should get back to. This is, really taxing on me and very difficult for me. I humbly request, not even humbly, I shouldn't put words in the I request my right to an expedited trial.
And he doesn't have that right here at all.
Right.
So they denied that. And the judge then said, sorry, we have foreigners who've been waiting for trials for 2 years. So essentially, that was a no.
And he's basically saying you're not special.
So
and after all the disrespect that he's brought to Korea, he wants this request to be respected. The judge didn't even think twice. He very calmly said, this is your situation. Nope.
And he was obviously very frustrated about that. He even lashed out at me at the end of the trial. So it'll be an interesting video that's coming in the next few days.
There's some cool stuff there, I think.
But other than that, I think that's really it for this current trial update.
Yeah, an hour and 40 minutes of testimony. Another L. So he had that win last week with the settlement, but we're back to the L's.
Back to reality, I guess. But other than that, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel and everything. And I'll see you guys in the video very soon. Peace.